This continent of Africa must be one. I hear you saying, he says, the borders must be open. The borders must be opened. Because borders are opened for white people. When there is a white person from Mozambique who can't even speak English, you welcome them. When there is a brother from Mozambique into Nelspruit, you call them names. Yet you don't call white people names. There is no Mozambique here. There is no Swaziland here. There is no Lesotho here. There is no Botswana here. Zambia or Namibia. There is no Zimbabwe. There is Africa, the continent of our ancestors.
Yo, what's happening, guys? It's your boy Uncle P with another one. Now, guys, this is a very interesting one. You know, every time I talk about Julius Malema, I get very passionate. A lot of people think I don't like the EFF. That's not true. You see, I always tell people, you know what, Julius Malema made one mistake. He mispresented the open border policy. That's where everything went wrong for him. You see, according to South Africans, the open border policy is basically opening the borders and allowing foreigners to come into the country. Now, those of us that defended the open border policy and tried to explain it were made to look like idiots, because Julius Malema then confirmed that, hey, the foreigners are already in the country, so we might as well just open the borders. And then I'm like, wait, Julius Malema, I thought, is that what you mean? If that's what you mean, then we have a problem. I thought when he was talking about open border policies, it meant economically. In what sense? Open the borders economically, in the sense that businesses, usually countries that sanction, they've got a lot of sanctions and rules and regulations for companies to open factories, businesses in their countries. And usually those things cost a lot of money, and because it's Africa and there's a lot of corruption, you have to bribe a lot of people. So a lot of factories and a lot of companies who want to open up in like other countries, they don't even bother to do so. So Julius Malema understands that having businesses and companies and factories open all over Africa will grow the economy of our countries, and people won't need to start going into each other's countries looking for employment. The issue is how he presented it. They are already here, so you might as well. Julius Malema understands that Africa, or rather yet South Africa, cannot do it on its own. The reason why South Africa cannot do it on its own, because one, the DA has no intentions to do what is right by the black South African. It wants to sell the country back to its brothers and sisters. We have proof of that. We see what they do. They only do what benefits their people. The ANC has shown that they are incompetent. They cannot be trusted with the funds of the country. And when things go really bad and they are pushed against the wall, they betray you even further by allying and working with the enemy. Now the country was put in a position where they didn't know which direction to go. That's the reason why these elections ended up like this. We had the hopes that the ANC was going to join the EFF and MK, possibly PA, Action SA. But we were shocked with the GNU, where the enemy was now second in power, and they had great powers in positions that can make an effect in the country. And we've seen the effect the DA is having in the country. Many people can say it's good. Only ignorant people will say it's good. But guys, today we are focusing on the EFF. We will talk about the DA and what they're doing, and the GNU on the next video. This is the video that I want us to discuss today.
You know what I like about Dali is that there was a meeting.
So, for those of you that not know, the EFF is falling apart. Dali Pof has left the EFF. So, I'm sure you guys have followed that news. I'm sorry that I did not cover that part. If you guys want me to start covering those kind of news, please guys, comment below. Let me know if you want me to cover everything politics, okay? I just like to give you guys the juicy parts, things that I know, I feel like you guys really need to focus on, so you understand what is really happening. So I'm going to play this video and continue and break it down.
Of the opposition parties, which was called by Zuma. And I said, I'm not going. So I asked Floyd and Marshall to attend the SG. They went, and Dali was there. Dali.
So first thing is first. In 29 seconds of this video, you already can see that Julius Malema trusted his people. A meeting that is extremely important. He refused to go himself. And he could have told his people not to go. But he told them go. Because it's not about him. It's about the country. Maybe something might be said there that we want to hear. But Julius is very smart. So he already knew whatever is going to be said there, I don't want to hear it. But anyways, let me send my people because they're going to come back and let me know. Yeah, it is exactly what you were thinking. Let's continue.
He went to make a presentation of a paper in that first meeting where he said the EFF must close down with the other parties and then form something under Zuma's leadership. I mean, things happen the way they happen. I mean, Floyd and Marshall, you know him, he's just there and he speaks when it is necessary. But
okay, so quick one. So Dali wanted the EFF and all the other small parties to close down and join MK. Okay? I need you to, please guys, remember this part. He wanted all the small parties, so basically all the parties that do not support the ANC and the DA that were willing to work with them, including the EFF, must all close down and they must become one party, which is the MK. This is a very important part of this video. There's many important parts, but please remember.
Floyd is the one who was leading the discussion. Who said, no ways, it's not going to happen, and all of that. And then he comes back extremely shocked that Dali is not only proposing it, he has written it down. He has had time to think about it and wrote it down. So I said, no. So then we agreed that we must meet, all parties must go consult their leadership, blah, blah. What is our position? I said, but that's madness. We can't do that. We closed the EFF to Zuma. Not 1 year. It was not even formed at that time. To what? Like, to do what? I don't understand that. Then, perhaps Dali realizes they are not doing a good job. He comes himself to me when they were all there as the officials in the 5th floor. He says, no, he wants to see me. I said, no, sharp, come. But I knew what he was going to tell me. So I brought Floyd and I brought Marshall into the meeting. And then he said that. He says, so I told him, no, it's not going to happen. I don't agree with that. And there's no EFF that is going to close shop. In his skillful way, you know, him said, okay, plus we are late now in the elections. Maybe after the elections, we can engage about it again. I said, no problem. And then, again, Floyd and Marshall went back to the meeting to give their party structures a position. They came back and said to me, the president of ATM, Zungula, said, of all of us here, parties, the only party with a national footprint, which is properly established with machinery, is the EFF. Let's collapse this thing. Let's collapse all of us into the EFF. Always I was in that meeting.
This is another part that I wanted you guys to realize. So, remember Zuma said, collapse the EFF and all the other parties to create MK. Now, ATM leader says, no, let all of us collapse and join the EFF, so the EFF must gain power. Now, why would Zuma refuse that? Why would any of them refuse it? This is where it gets very interesting. Listen to this. And this is where you learn why South Africa, or rather yet educated South Africans, those that understand that South Africa needs change, are failing to gain the change that the country needs. So you know who really is in control over the country and the voting when the election comes. And why it's important for the AMA2 case and all of us to go vote.
That president of the PAC was there. I don't know if Carl Neos was there or what. They were all there. I still refuse. I said, I'm not going. I'm not part. I don't agree with that. And then, that's what they said. Zungula is the one who said, actually...
I think this is where Julius made a mistake. This is where his ego might have beat him. Imagine if he was in that meeting when the ATM leader said what he said. Right there on the spot, he could have convinced all the other parties why that was a good idea. But because he was not there, His voice was not heard, so his opinion was not implemented. All this is because of egotisticness. Julius needs to start to learn to listen to people.
The EFF is the way. Then Zuma responded and said, no. Can you imagine an old person voting for EFF? These old people will never agree to vote for the EFF. And
there you go. See, Zuma was there, and this is where Julius made a mistake. The moment the ATM leader was talking, he could have convinced all of them is the right way. But Zuma was there, and Zuma said, hey, do you think these old people will vote for EFF? What Julius is not realizing, that Zuma knows because he's president, is the tactics of the ANC, which himself, he was supposed to know, because he was a youth leader, that they target old people in the villages, people who don't really know what is happening on the ground, people who have no knowledge, have never even probably speak English, people who have probably not even seen a white man. They legalize all those people. The problem with those people is what? Most of them can't go to voting stations. So that's why you see, remember during the elections, they were catching people with multiple IDs, voting on people's behalf. Those are the people that Julius Malema is talking about in this video here. And this is the thing that I want South Africa to realize. The ANC will always get majority votes because that's where they're getting these votes for. For as long as the people who are supposed to be voting, which is you and I, well, I'm a non-citizen. I'm a permanent resident. But I'm talking about the AMA 2Ks and everyone else, guys. The country will remain the same. All this is, guys, this is politics. It's politics 101. So now what is happening, everybody's going to the MK because they realize that because of Julius Malema's open border policy and the fact that he's losing favor from the country and MK is gaining favor, it's best for them to jump ship. And they're doing it right because now we know the secret. They're not only jumping ship, other parties are now going to join MK. That means MK is going to become powerful. The issue is the ANC and the DA right now in the GNU are opening borders in a smart way, not the way Julius Malema wanted to open it. They are opening borders through turning the Home Affairs digital, legalizing foreigners. What do you think will happen when all... Guys, I don't want to make this video too long. Check your guys on the next video where we discuss the Home Affairs and the digitizing of the document or of the IDs and some of the things that he's been talking about, so you know the dangers that we are in. Julius Malema is literally right now exposed a lot. That's MK. And I watched an MK video and I'm going to do a video on it. And I think that's the video that you should follow after this one. So we link it together, where you see why the MK was formed. And the MK was not formed for the people. I just realized it. It was not formed for the people. MK was formed for a completely other reason. Check out the next video. I'm your boy, Uncle P. I'll see you on the next one. And if I'm wrong, guys, do not be harsh. Come to the comments. Let's lead each other. We are here to educate it. I'm giving you my understanding of what is happening and what I'm hearing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, our thinking needs to change. Which party are we going to vote for? I'm going to give you guys answer in all the upcoming videos. I really hope you guys watch these videos in full and we're all educating each other. I want to thank you guys for coming onto the live stream last night. It was freaking amazing. I'm going to try and host another live stream tonight, and as many as I possibly can, because we need to get the message out there. I'm your boy Uncle P. I know I've said that before and I've said it again, and I'll keep reminding y'all. I love y'all. Peace.
he told them the footprint of how, if we come together, we're going to get the votes from where and all of that. And then after the second meeting, we came back. Then they said, no, Zuma wants to see me. 4 eyes. I said, no problem, I'll go. Dali says he's going to come, but I already know what Dali is up to. So I bring Vuyani. I say, Vuyani, let's go together. No, when we entered the meeting, President Zuma asked me to stay in the meeting with him. And then Dali and some other chubby guy, I can't remember what was his name, but he came from President Zuma's side, and Vuyan asked them to excuse us so that we can have a discussion. So I remained with President Zuma. He started making that presentation and all of that. But Floyd told me that in the first meeting, Zuma addressed them for 3 hours. In the second meeting, it was relatively better. He addressed them for 2 hours. So I said, how do you allow that? They say, hey, we're thinking maybe General will stop him or something. Hey, but we sit there and just listen. I said, no problem. So when they said he wants to see me, 10, 15 minutes into the discussion, I interjected him because at the back of my mind was like, you're not going to address me for 2 hours. It's not going to happen. Not 3 hours. I said, no, Baba, but I was thinking, you endorse the EFF. And then after endorsing the EFF, we'll have a proper discussion because we are now late, just on the eve of the elections. And then we can talk about what are the issues that you want us to take up in the immediate and all of that. And then he said, well, it's too late because I'm launching a party on the 16th of December. And I think we're like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before that. Hard luck. But let's take up this discussion after the elections. The meeting ended. If it took long, it's 20 minutes. We're done. And then we opened the door for those guys to come back. They were all like, so quick. I was like, no, we know what we want. Because it was not going to happen. I don't regret our position that which we took against President Zuma at the time. And this I asked Floyd if he thinks he has forgiven us for what we have done to him. I don't think he has forgiven us for that. And it doesn't matter, but we were not misled. We're not misled. Everything else we articulated, it was a correct position of the EFF, and it remains the correct position of the EFF. Having developed those positions around Zuma as the EFF, we now say this guy must now be our leader. We can't agree to that. We can't agree to that. So, and that's the thing I respect about Dali. Because he has been open about it, he has been speaking about it. And one day, when I write a book, I will have a lot of stories to tell. Even on how Dali became Zuma's lawyer on some of these matters. So this morning, when I woke up to the news, I was like, it is what it is. Yeah, so he has sent me a message. First, he sent me a message about the birthday of his daughter turning 21st. So I didn't respond because I could see what Dali was doing. So I knew if he sends me an invitation to a 21st birthday party, it means he has sent to everyone, which means we're all going to be united under Dali's leadership. And then he's going to project himself as this guy who brought all of them under one roof. So I said, no, I'm not responding because I'm not going there. And then he sent me now a text a few days after that he wants to see me urgently because he knows Parliament is in recess. He can come to the office, or I go to his house, or he comes to my house. I didn't respond. And because we are so used to this now, my wife says to me, he wants to say his goodbyes. No. I'm not good for. I'm not good for goodbyes. So I'm fine. I don't want. So let him do what he wants to do. So we respect his decision, and there's nothing we can do about it. He has been there. I know of the work they've been doing. I know of the work he has been doing and all of that. So this has never been a shock to me. It was just about when is it about to happen. It's going to happen anytime, but we just don't know when. So it eventually happened, and we're fine.